in the Annika Pro-Am. As it says here, it will take the Gamebridge ambassador Caitlin Clark returns to play this Wednesday. No, not this Wednesday. In the Wednesday, November 12th Pro-Am at Pelican Golf Club as part of the Annika driven by Gamebridge at Pelican.
The WNBA just received a wake-up call that felt like a seismic shock. Reports indicate Cathy Engelbert is in a total panic since Caitlin Clark subtly hinted she might depart basketball for the LPGA. The league's golden goose trading a basketball for a golf club, that's the material of nightmares in Cathy's office. The question is, could this gossip be factual, or is it just the league's deepest fear finally manifesting?
As Clark will play Wednesday, November 12th at Pelican Club. Pro-Am tickets are $25, and event organizers. Now peep this. Business is booming when Caitlin is involved. Pro-Am tickets are $25, and event organizers saw demand increase 1,200% for the Pro-Am because of Clark, one of the most popular figures in the sports world. 1,200%.
Let's begin with the crisis currently unfolding inside WNBA headquarters. It seems everyone's on edge, with Cathy Engelbert at the front of the anxious procession. Caitlin Clark, the athlete who almost single-handedly restored WNBA ticket sales, viewership, and its relevance, is now connected to the LPGA. Yes, golf.
And I believe they might even have they've got a statement from somebody. Caitlin Clark enjoyed her time at the Annika so much last year that she's running it back. The WNBA star will return to the LPGA Tour event at Pelican Golf Club in Bel Air, Florida, where she's scheduled to participate in the Pro-Am on November 12th.
And before you roll your eyes, understand this isn't some silly off-season gossip. Caitlin has been publicly associated with golf previously. She has played in Pro-Am events, shared a course with major names like Nelly Korda, and was also invited to return for another LPGA tournament this autumn.
Dozen followers. Clark had thousands. She played the front nine with the world number one Nelly Korda and back nine with golf icon Annika Sorenstam, the event's host. It was an honor to play the Pro-Am with Caitlin last year. The crowds were amazing, and we are excited for her to return to the Annika in November. Annika said she added such a great dynamic to our event, and her passion for golf and competitiveness were fun to witness firsthand. Drivers, Colton Herta and Marcus Erickson served as the caddies. Come on, man.
All right, everybody, welcome back.
I think the cool thing about that is just you felt the energy in the room, the amount of women sitting in there and so passionate about being a leader in their space, whether it was sport, whether it's business, whatever it is. I think that was what's so cool about it, and obviously getting to sit next to Annika on stage is pretty special for myself. So I think a lot of things that me and Annika said is we share a lot of the same values, and I think that's really cool, being driven, but so do they at the same time. Like, obviously we're professional athletes who played sport or whatever it was, but at the same time in their lives, it all relates. And I think people at times forget that we're real humans too, and we're driven by the same things that they are, maybe just achieving things a little bit differently, and whatever it is, but you could just feel the energy and excitement in the room, and I thought that was what's so cool about it.
Each time she appears on the fairway, crowds are larger, coverage is broader, and the smiles on golf executives' faces are wider. Now contrast that with the WNBA's present state. Endless officiating debates, disgruntled players, and a commissioner unable to read the room if you handed her a blueprint. It's no surprise people are suggesting Caitlin Clark could be seeking a new playground. To be frank, Caitlin no longer needs the WNBA. The WNBA needs her. She is the reason arenas began selling out. She is the reason jerseys flew from the shelves. She is the reason sponsors started picking up the phone. However, the league, with Cathy Engelbert at the helm, has handled her like a public relations issue, not a gift. From the start, Caitlin's on-court treatment sparked a national dialogue. The relentless hard fouls, the inaction from officials, and the commissioner's typical "everything is fine" reply. While Cathy Engelbert termed it physical basketball, fans perceived it as it was, targeting and bias. So when Caitlin appeared on the golf course smiling at ease and visibly having fun, it was noticed. The difference was stark. Golf treated her like a queen. The WNBA handled her like a news story to be managed, and that's what gave this rumor traction. Sources say the alarm in the WNBA offices is legitimate because Cathy Engelbert understands what losing Caitlyn would signify. It would be more than a bad image, it would mark the end of her career. Without Caitlyn, WNBA ratings would plummet quicker than a poor putt on a slick green. The timing only exacerbates it. CBA talks are already chaotic, owners are enraged, and the players' patience is wearing thin. Introduce Caitlyn's departure to that equation, and you have a PR detonation larger than any three-pointer she has ever made. Let's analyze this.
Every league understands the value of Caitlyn Clark. Every single league, and we're going to get into this article. Every single league, from Major League Baseball, the NFL, the NBA, everybody seems to understand the value that Caitlyn Clark brings to the table, except guess who? Except who? The league she plays in, the WNBA. Cathy, in my opinion, this is the reason you got to go. This is the reason you have to go. All these WNBA players that was disrespecting fans, disrespecting Caitlyn Clark fans, and all of this nonsense. Y'all don't understand the value she brings, but all of the leagues who are prospering and winning, they understand the value, and it's pretty sad.
Cathy Engelbert is already facing criticism for her handling of nearly everything, from refereeing chaos and player pay to media engagement. She has been described as tone-deaf, patronizing, and disconnected by the very individuals she is meant to lead. Now, chatter of Caitlyn Clark's possible exit is spreading like a wildfire on social media. Fans are not accepting the "it's just a fun tournament" excuse either. They have witnessed how joyful Caitlyn seems with a golf club in her hand, and they've seen how dejected she looked while getting body slammed without a whistle in the WNBA. The visual contrast is harsh. You can almost see Cathy Engelbert swiping through her phone now, seeing Caitlyn Clark LPGA trending, and just screaming on the inside. This is because it is not just about a rumor, it is about what that rumor signifies.
It looks like she's going to participate in the same event that she was in last year, which garnered a hell of a lot of attention. A ton of attention. Caitlyn Clark to run it back at the LPGA event. WNBA star will compete in the Annika Pro-Am. Annika Sorenstam.
She's had an endorsement deal with Gamebridge, the title sponsor of this LPGA event, since her senior season at the University of Iowa. See, Cathy, you talking about without the WNBA, the girl wouldn't have been making $16 million. She been getting money with these people while she was at Iowa. She been getting to the bag before the WNBA. Sorry. That would never work here. The WNBA needs to be grateful of Caitlyn Clark, not the other way around. Okay. I had an amazing time at Annika last November and participating in the Pro-Am alongside Nelly Court.
She's serious. She's really, really serious about this golf. Hosted by World Golf and LPGA Hall of Famer Annika Sorenstam, the Annika is the LPGA Tour's final full-field regular season event for 2025 and includes a $3.25 million purse. Quote, "It was an honor to play in the Pro-Am with Caitlyn last year. The crowds were amazing. We are excited for her return to the Annika in November," Sorenstam said in a statement. "She's added such a great dynamic to our event, and her passion for golf competitiveness were fun to witness firsthand." You know who's also extremely competitive at golf? Michael Jordan will rip your heart out. He's competitive at everything. But, you know, just throwing another GOAT out in the arena there. I look forward to having her back and continuing to introduce the great game of golf to the next generation.
I mean, she is an iconic figure, and there she is, up close. If Caitlyn so much as considers another sport, it highlights how inadequately the WNBA has treated its greatest star. It demonstrates that the league, which should be empowering its athletes, has instead compelled them to seek respect elsewhere. This is what fuels the panic. You may be wondering, is Caitlyn Clark truly going to switch to golf? unlikely for now, but the sheer plausibility of it tells you everything necessary about how dire things are within the WNBA. Consider this. When is the last time you heard of a male athlete rumored to be leaving his league due to dissatisfaction with its leadership? Precisely, this is indicative of the disorder Cathy Engelbert has fostered. Players are discontent, fans are incensed, sponsors are nervous, and now, the one individual keeping the league prominent is being courted by a different sport that actually shows her respect. It is difficult to fault Caitlyn if she's enticed. The LPGA gave her the red carpet treatment last year, prime coverage, loving fans, and absolutely no drama. The golf world welcomed her as a superstar, whereas her own league treated her as just another rookie who could shoot well. It is quite shameful.
Yeah. All roads lead to the Annika Pro-Am. Trust me, all roads, all cameras, all people will be tuned in for the Annika Pro-Am. Why? To see the GOAT, Caitlyn.
Down, Clark doesn't load her hands properly, but her athleticism to generate good club speed. Fans will see if things have improved next month. So, and like I said, that came out by The Athletic, aka the New York Times now.
In my opinion, this is the reason you gotta go. This is the reason you have to go. All these WNBA players that was disrespecting fans, disrespecting Caitlyn Clark fans, and all of this nonsense. Y'all don't understand the value she brings, but all of the leagues who are prospering and winning, they understand the value, and it's pretty sad. We have an article by Scott Agnes. Hey, Scott, listen, man, I let bygones be bygones. I let bygones be bygones, bro. Just don't pull what you pulled again. Don't do it again. Let bygones be bygones. Salute to Scott Agnes.
Caitlyn Clark has done more for women's athletics in 2 years than many executives achieve in their entire careers. But instead of safeguarding her, the WNBA permitted her to be targeted on the court and ridiculed off of it. When you lose your star players' respect, you lose the league. That's the dreadful scenario Cathy Engelbert now confronts. Sources within the league mention her meetings are now tense. There is much damage control, many forced smiles, and an abundance of phrases like strategic planning and player relations enhancement. In other words, total panic mode. Because here is the issue. Even if Caitlyn Clark doesn't actually depart the WNBA, the simple possibility that she could is damaging enough. It reveals all that is wrong with the league's operations. For ages, the WNBA pleaded for a mainstream superstar. They receive one, and rather than building the league around her, they push her away. It's like discovering gold and tossing it back because you dislike its shade. In the meantime, the LPGA observes this fiasco unfolding with a grin. They see a highly marketable, adored athlete with a huge fan base and a genuine interest in the sport of golf. They see an opening, and you know who else does.
I thought we'd just check this out. This was from the Indiana Fever's official X page from last year.
Yeah. You got that? There you go. 180 yards is fair.
LPGA loves Caitlyn Clark. They know she's great for business. They know the numbers that come with having Caitlyn Clark's name affiliated with the event. They know the pub that is gonna bring and everything that's gonna come with it. So obviously they are gonna do what's best for business. Unlike the WNBA,
the sponsors. GameBridge has existing ties to Caitlyn via its WNBA team partnerships and LPGA tourneys. They would gladly facilitate her transition if it were to occur. Why wouldn't they, really? She packs arenas and draws millions of views on every single highlight reel. She could make a random golf tourney a trending topic instantly. And that is what terrifies Cathy Engelbert the most. Because if Caitlyn Clark can enter another sport and immediately elevate its profile, then perhaps she was never the one who needed the WNBA. So now that the gossip has spread so rapidly, let's discuss the aftermath. The fans, the press, the players. They all suddenly understood what the WNBA might really lose if Caitlyn Clark tees off just one more time on a golf course. Social media exploded overnight. The tag Dane, Caitlyn Tall PGA was trending in hours. A few people were kidding, some were half joking, and many were flat out pleading with her not to go. But the single person not amused was Cathy Engelbert. For Cathy, this is more than just another rumor. It is a direct challenge to her already fragile reputation. She has been attempting to persuade everyone that the league is more robust than ever, but one golf swing from Caitlin Clark can make that entire story fall apart. Privately, league sources say panic meetings began right away. PR departments scrambled to devise a response. One executive allegedly said, "We cannot allow this to become a story." Too late, it already had. By the moment the sports channels reported it, Cathy Engelbert's name was trending yet again, right alongside Caitlin Clark's, and, to be honest, those two names in tandem never signal good news for the commissioner. Each time they're in the same headline, it's because Cathy said something disconnected and Caitlin did something amazing. This instance was no different. People began comparing how the LPGA manages its athletes versus the WNBA's approach. Spoiler, it wasn't a favorable comparison for the basketball league.
Nelly Korda and Annika Sorenstam, two of the best in the game, Clark said in a statement. "I'm honored to be the ambassador for the company in Cambridge that is so committed to elevating women's sports. I can't wait to return to Tampa in November to play in the Pro-Am with the best women golfers." The crowds were amazing. "We are excited for her return to the Annika in November," Sorenstam said in a statement. "She's added such a great dynamic to our event, and her passion for golf competitiveness were fun to witness firsthand." You know who's also extremely competitive at golf? Michael Jordan will rip your heart out. He's competitive at everything. But, you know, just throwing another GOAT out in the arena.
When she arrives at an LPGA event, the organizers behave as if royalty is present. When she arrives at a WNBA game, the referees act as if they missed the foul. The juxtaposition is so stark, it's agonizing. And frankly, the WNBA brought this on itself. Instead of seizing the moment and building around its star, it attempted to manage her. It tried to balance the story so other players might not feel left out. But you cannot balance the truth. Caitlin Clark is why people are watching. It is that plain. Now the very commissioner who dismissed fan concerns is seeing those same fans root for Caitlin somewhere else. And that has to sting. This is the outcome when leadership is so disconnected, it fails to see how tenuous its success truly is. You cannot claim credit for growth. You did not foster. You can't push away the player who brought you relevance and assume things will not change. But Cathy Engelbert is discovering that the hard way. To compound the issue, the LPGA knows precisely how to leverage this. They have started hinting at long-term partnerships, endorsement deals, and special celebrity features. Every time Caitlin Clark's name is linked to golf, their social media engagement soars. They need not do anything else. Just allow the WNBA to continue its misstep. In the meantime, Cathy Engelbert is likely drafting her next "We Value Our Players" speech as the owners draft her list of replacements. Because, let's be honest, if this rumor continues to build, someone must accept the blame, and it will not be Caitlin Clark. Even inside the NBA offices, there is said to be exasperation. Adam Silver is growing weary of seeing WNBA drama trending weekly. He was meant to be supervising the league's expansion, not its slow-motion implosion, and want to guess whose name constantly appears in those discussions? Yes, Cathy Engelbert is the sole person in professional sports who could take a golden age and convert it into a crisis conference.
Me too. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Stop it. Stop it. They said the Golf Channel went live during her round and had a reporter interview Clark on a walk down the fairway. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. Most groups had a handful, sometimes a dozen followers. Clark had thousands.
I look forward to having her back and continuing to introduce the great game of golf to the next generation. Clark, the Iowa star and leading scorer in college basketball history, has taken the WNBA world by storm since she was the #1 draft pick by the Indiana Fever in 2024. Goes on to talk about she was limited to 13 games this year. Her presence at the Annika last year attracted big crowds that swelled into the thousands. Interest was so high, The Athletic even sent a video of Clark's swing to a golf course for analysis.
Let's get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, hype the video. Caitlin Clark, for her second offseason, she will
So she is now in the most difficult position imaginable, attempting to assure the public that things are fine while her own league is publicly doubting her leadership. And the craziest part, Caitlin Clark need not utter a single word. She simply needs to appear at a golf course and share a smile on Instagram. That is sufficient to push Cathy into yet another round of strategic talks. The entire power structure has been inverted. The player is now in control. The commissioner is on the defensive, and it is frankly poetic. For many years, players were instructed to be thankful for their platform. Now the platform is hoping its players do not depart. The reality is clear. The WNBA needed Caitlin Clark far more than Caitlin Clark ever needed the WNBA, and Cathy Engelbert is at last confronting the fallout from forgetting that. So what comes next? If the past is any guide, we are moving toward a confrontation. The owners will require accountability, the players will agitate for change, and fans will continue watching to see if the league ever learns how to shield its stars instead of pushing them away. But one thing is certain, Cathy Engelbert cannot withstand another PR debacle, because this time, she cannot pass it off as growing pains. Everyone sees this for what it is, a failure of leadership. And should Caitlin Clark ever opt to swap her basketball sneakers for golf spikes permanently, that failure will be etched into history. So, what's your take? Could Caitlin Clark genuinely contemplate leaving the WNBA for the LPGA, or is this merely a warning to a league that has forgotten its source of relevance? Leave your thoughts below, and if you like analyzing the chaos in sports power dynamics, click that like button, subscribe, and enable notifications so you never miss the next development.